My neighbor kept hitting my fence with his lawnmower, so now he is buying 4 new tires. So, picture this, I have this neighbor, let's call him Bob. Now, Bob seems like a decent enough guy at first glance, but little did I know, he had a secret vendetta against my fence. You see, every time he mowed his lawn, he managed to miraculously slam his lawnmower into my fence. And not just once, but week after week. At first, I thought it was just an innocent accident. Mistakes happen, right. But when I confronted Bob about it, he flat out denied it, claiming innocence with a straight face. Now, I'm no detective, but I trust my eyes, and I had seen him do it not once, but multiple times. Naturally, I couldn't just sit back and watch my fence suffer the wrath of Bob's relentless lawnmower attacks. So, week after week, I took it upon myself to fix the damage he caused. It became my routine, but it was driving me insane. And let me tell you, these repairs weren't just a quick fix. I had to put in some serious effort and hard-earned cash to keep my fence standing tall. After 6 long weeks of Bob's mysterious fence-destroying endeavors, I'd had enough. I decided to take matters into my own hands and gather evidence. I set up a camera, carefully positioned to capture Bob in the act. And wouldn't you know it, the evidence was crystal clear. There he was, plowing his lawnmower right into my fence, without a care in the world. You'd think that with video proof staring him in the face, Bob would finally admit to his actions. But nope, he had the audacity to claim it was just a bad angle and that the camera didn't capture the real story. What a load of bull. He conveniently failed to provide any explanation for his repeated fence-bashing shenanigans. Fed up with his stubborn denial, I mustered up the courage to confront him once more. I told him straight up to stay away from my precious fence and that I'd take care of mowing that area myself. Well, guess what? Bob ignored my plea and, like a broken record, hit my fence again. At this point, my sanity was hanging by a thread. I couldn't believe the nerve of this guy. That's when inspiration struck me, and I decided to teach Bob a lesson he'd never forget. I went out the night before his usual mowing day and carefully laced the area near the fence with little blocks of wood, each adorned with menacing nails. I stuffed them down inside the grass in such a way that they would not be seen until it was too late. The next day, Bob hopped on his trusty mower, unaware of the surprise that awaited him. As he mowed that cursed spot, sure enough, the fence took another hit, and I couldn't help but smirk from a distance. But that wasn't even the best part. As Bob drove away, I couldn't help but notice that all 4 tires of his mower had little blocks of wood stuck to them, courtesy of my little secret trap. Well, Bob freaked the hell out when he discovered the wood blocks impaled on his tires. He stormed over to me, fuming, and accused me of orchestrating the whole thing. You did it on purpose, he claimed, his face red with anger. I, of course, played dumb, feigning innocence like a pro. Oh, Bob, I have no idea what could have caused that. Maybe I accidentally left some scrap behind when I was repairing the fence for the umpteenth time. I innocently replied, trying to keep a straight face. From that day forward, Bob never dared to mow anywhere near my fence again. It was as if a boundary had finally been set, and he realized he couldn't mess with my property without facing consequences. It's funny how standing up for yourself can bring about a change in dynamic, even with the most difficult of neighbors. Months went by, and the tension between Bob and me slowly dissipated. We both chose to bury the hatchet and pretend like nothing ever happened. It was as if our friendship reset to its original state, without any acknowledgement of the fence wars that had taken place. We'd exchange pleasantries, share a beer or two on occasion, and chat about the latest news and neighborhood gossip. It was like stepping into an alternate reality where the fence fiasco was just a bizarre chapter in our lives. Looking back, I can't help but chuckle at the absurdity of it all. The lengths I went to protect my fence, and the stubbornness Bob displayed in denying his involvement, were just surreal. But hey, sometimes life throws us these peculiar situations, and we have to find our own ways to cope. In the end, setting boundaries and standing up for myself was the key to resolving the issue. It taught me an important lesson about asserting my rights and making it clear that I wouldn't tolerate any more damage to my property. And as strange as it may seem, it brought a strange kind of closure to the whole ordeal. Nowadays, Bob and I continue our lives as if the fence feud never happened. We coexist peacefully, keeping a respectful distance from each other's property lines. It's amazing how a little confrontation and some creative problem solving can lead to a surprising resolution. So, fellow Redditors, there you have it, the tale of my crazy neighbor in the battle of the fence. It was a wild ride, filled with denial, frustration, and eventually, a strange camaraderie. Let this story serve as a reminder that sometimes, standing up for yourself and setting boundaries is the only way to restore peace in the neighborhood. Have you ever had a bizarre encounter with a neighbor? Share your own stories in the comments below. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more Tangled threats.